comment, like, and subscribe. Hey, what's up YouTube? So I'm back working on the Mach1 today. Last time you saw this, I told you I came from the track and my front strut was blowed out. So I just unhooked everything. I want to show you why I told you I hate the urethane bushings. This is on the bottom of my front spring, and you can tell not only is it deteriorated, pieces are gone, the spring was riding metal to metal. Look at that. That's partly why my car was so low in the front, and being so low may have been what contributed to damage in the strut. So either way, I'm gonna pull this off, because that is absolute garbage. And this isn't but a couple years old. I put these on when I put the motor in a couple years ago. But what's nice about this is I have a new set of drag struts coming today from Bilstein, whatever you want to call it. And because I've had so many projects over the years and different things, I have a coilover kit here off the TTSaleen that I changed. I put Bilsteins on front of that car. Same thing that's on 034 Cobra, because I wanted something more streetable. I also took these coilover springs off of that car. These are Ibach 14-inch by 175 springs. So I had these on that car with a set of 70/30 struts that I ended up changing out because I just didn't like them. But because I've had these for a long time, all I have to do now is put these on the new struts, the sleeve for adjusting the coilover, and these, and then I can get rid of the lowering springs, and I can raise and lower the height as I want on the front. Plus, these Bilsteins are a drag street strip type of spring, so it should be better for the launch and things like that. So not only should it ride softer, it should launch a lot better, maybe help my 60-foot. But this is necessity because that front strut, as I told you, 140 hit the brakes, and it was, you know, dipping in the front, which is not good. All right, show you more in a minute. Well, I got both front struts off, and I didn't find the smoking gun that I thought I was gonna find. So here's the struts, and like I said, they're about brand new. I just put them on recently. But to test them, you basically push them down all the way like that, and then watch. Come right back up like normal. And it's got a lot of tension. That was the passenger side. Here's the driver's side, same thing. Push it down, a lot of tension, and then boom, right back up. There's nothing wrong with these struts. These struts are perfectly fine. But now what I'm wondering is if my springs collapse. These are the H&R springs. I showed you where it was dragging because that raggedy urethane broke. But what I want you to look at right here, you can see where the spring has been touching down on itself. See right there? See the telltale mark all the way around? And what's interesting about that is both sides are like that. That's the passenger side too. So I've had these springs for quite a few years. They're the H&R Super Sports, which ride really well and lower the car a lot. But now I'm wondering if the struts are fine, maybe the struts just can't do a good job if the springs are collapsed. And that happens. A lot of times lowering springs can definitely fail like that. But I won't know till I put on the new struts today and the coilover springs. So we'll see. We'll see if that makes a difference. Stay tuned. All right, pretty easy, straightforward. First thing you do is just pull this dust cover boot off, because you're not gonna need that. And then you put it all together. I'll show you real quick, but this is what you want once it's in. And you tighten this down. Tighten it by hand, just a wrench and an Allen, and tighten it up till it's snug. Don't over tighten that. And then what you wanna do is take this and make sure you got full articulation that it can move around without hitting the top from the spring to the bottom of the caster camber plate. So this has plenty of articulation here. It's good to go. And just to show you how it actually goes together, this is your strut. This is your sleeve with a notch on it. You put this down, it goes right on top of this to keep basically the sleeve from moving around. Once that's on, take your spring. You have the flat on each end, but I would like to put it where the numbers are facing properly. You drop the spring on like so, and then you have your cap that you put on. And I've set mine down somewhere. Let me see if I can find it. Found the cap. So this is your cap. It has a flat washer, a bearing, and another flat washer, and then this piece on the top. What you want to do, you want to sit this on here like so. You center it on the spring, it drops down. This is going to drop down a little bit more to the flat spot in here. And when we put it on the actual car, you want to make sure you have enough room so this doesn't go up too much in the body. So I have these, so you drop these on like so. I use basically 2 of the bigger ones or 2 small ones to make one big one, but put those on like this, and it gives you the enough room to have full articulation. If that's not enough, this will hit the bottom of the caster camber. If this is too much, it'll have a big gap and the stud won't come all the way through where you can actually get the nut on it. So what you want to do, you want to be able to get the nut on with a thread or 2 out. I have another small one at the top here, which looks like this. And I like putting that small one up here just to give it room to move. See, I'll move this around, see how it can move a little bit. It just gives you full movement without the nut actually hitting. So I like doing it this way. Other people may do it differently. This works for me, never had a problem. And I'm getting ready to slide this in. Then once it's like this, you basically grab it, bring it over here, slide it in from the bottom, and then put your nut on it. So, pretty straightforward. And here's the finished product. Get your bolts back in for your strut, your holder here for your ABS. Make sure all that's right. Make sure your little shield here is not touching the rotor once you get your brakes back on. Always push it back a little bit so you got a little bit of room there. And you can see how that's now tight, snug, ready to go. Now simply put the wheels on it. And the last step is, once I lower it down, adjust the height. A tip here, you take a tape measure, you measure from right here at top of the strut up to the bottom of this, and that'll be your initial check on both sides. And then depending on the height you want to raise it, if you want to raise it, let's say a 1/2 inch or 1 inch, you turn that until it's another inch from where you measured it. Do it the same on both sides, and it should be really even. And this is how it sits on the ground. I push it up and down a little bit on the suspension, but that actually looks really good. And it's definitely noticeably higher than before. You see right here, 2 fingers thickness there, where before, literally I could barely get 1 finger in there. So definitely higher, should give more travel, and we'll see how these drag struts do. Can't wait to see how it does, how it feels on the street. Hopefully it's fixed my dipping in the front problem. We'll find out. All right, a quick tip doing maintenance. When I had the coilovers off, or put the coilovers on, I always like to check the play and everything after I drive it. So I came back, had the wheels on it, started moving it around. And as I moved this wheel left to right, hand on left, hand on right, move back and forth, it had just a slight amount of play in it. Typically, if it moves left to right, it's your steering linkage here. And if it moves up and down, it's your ball joint. Well, my ball joint was in great shape. These A-arms are brand new. I just put them on and put the motor in a couple years ago. But these inner and outer tie rods are actually original. And I want you to see how much that flops around. But hear that? As I push in and out on this is where the play's coming from. The floor against your new arm, which I have here. I've actually had this thing for probably, I don't know, 5+ years. I had it as an extra off my black car, and it's still in the package. And it's exactly what I need. Now what I'm gonna do, because my outer is fine, this joint's still really tight, and then I'll measure it again when I take this off so I can put this back in the same place on the new arm. So technically my steering should be really close. Because I just changed to put coilovers on here, I need to get an alignment. Check it out. My new Team Z double adjustable lower control arms came in. These things are super nice, super lightweight. There you go. Things are really cool. Just got them in. It's Saturday, June 29th. You'll notice these have the spring perch for stock springs, and they have the sway bar mounts, which is what I still run for the stock sway bar. Now by comparison, this is what I took off the Mach. These are the Mach1 Motorsport ones. I've already fixed the bushing. This is the one that was broken on the passenger side. I've since pressed in a new one. Just like the driver's side was broke, I pressed in a new one there. So these are fixed and ready to go into something else, whether I sell them or put them in my Fox body, which I'll probably do. All right, show you a little trick before you get started. First thing to do is take your tape measure, and you want to measure center hole to center hole and see what kind of length you got. And I got just under 17 3/4, right? So when you put your new arms in, you want to preliminary put them there, but then once they're in the car, then you can start adjusting them. And these are really cool because you can adjust them actually in the car. Hey, good morning, YouTube. So I've been working on the Mach1, putting in the new control arms. And they're the Team Z, which are really nice. And basically the way I like to put them in, you put them in, you get them tight and snug, and then I back it off between 1/4 and 1/2 turn. That's just how I like to do it. Keep it a little loose, so no binding. What I had a problem though, I put everything back together, lowered it down, and apparently the way these arms are, the mounts here for the sway bar are slightly different. Like I think they're a little closer here. See how that is? I think they're a little closer. And I kept, well, long story short, the thing wouldn't compress. I drove it and it was stiff like a pogo stick. I came back and looked, and here's the telltale signs right there and right there where it was literally laying on the sway bar, because this is 3-inch pipe, and apparently with that setup, I guess most people that run these don't run tailpipes, and if they do, they don't run 3-inch, but my sway bar was literally sitting on the pipes. So when I'd go to drive it, it had no way to compress. Cool. But driving around is phenomenal. It rides better than stock. And when you get on it, on a flat road, it's straight as an arrow. And if there's a crown in the road, it's gonna move around on you. But I do like the arms. They're nice and quiet, no binding. They work great. I even put some grade 8 hardware on here to hold my bracket for the emergency cable. That's what this is, since I took the sway bar off, so I could keep everything just like factory. So the only thing is I just lost the sway bar, but you know what? I'm not throwing in the curves anyway, and I like it. Later on, right now, I can't get the rear shocks to match the front struts from Bilstein. They have a street strip shock to match their struts, but they're on back order. So when they come back on back order, I'll probably put those on and get rid of these Takikos. And then I'll have the full strut, shock, drag set up on it, and these control arms, and I can't wait to go back to the track and see how it does. So the Magnum T56, the bell housing, the clutch, the drive shaft, and the cross member, I sold to a guy who owns a Terminator Cobra. He lives in Burlington, so I'm gonna take it out this week. He's gonna come pick it up, and I'm gonna do the next iteration of this car. So stay tuned to see what that's gonna be. I actually have some parts here from other projects that I kept, and I just got some of these pieces in here, so should be pretty cool. Talk to you soon.